Okay, we have time for our final topic really quickly. We're looking back at Nancy Reagan's influence as a figure in pop culture. She died this week at the age of 94, and like her husband, Ronald Reagan, she came from Hollywood. And as a former actress, she knew how to use the media to promote a message. Charles, you were a kid in the 80s. What do you remember of Nancy Reagan and the Just Say No campaign?
Wow, I remember it really became a bit of a joke pretty quickly. I remember older folks, just a little bit older, would be like, hey, you want some drugs? Just say yes.
Yeah.
And it was just funny. And I think it was a noble effort, by anyone trying to, speak truthfully about some of the harms that drugs can bring to one's life. But at the same time, I don't really think it was an effective campaign. And, especially in America when we've seen what has come of things of all kind of states. So I really think that the power of celebrity is pretty incredible. But at the same time, having someone portray a message of that kind, but seeing that it's actually not really effective on the bottom on the ground level. It's a wake up call to everyone. I think that celebrity has its place and it has its position, and it can influence and it can get a message out there that's still living with us for how many years. But at the same time, we should really look at what that effective work is done, what the results of that is.
I mean, in terms of legacy, it seems normal now that a first lady would be involved in a campaign like this. But what was significant about Nancy Reagan's approach at the time, Stephen?
Nancy Reagan on different strokes in the 80s. Donald Trump crushing the Republican primaries, 2016. I don't think you have to work very hard to draw a pretty clear line between those two. I mean, Reagan, I think to define the Reagans as a pop culture phenomenon is kind of oversimplistic. He was also an excellent politician, whereas what we have now is some kind of mixture of celebrity culture and politics that's utterly toxic. But the two, they began it. They began it. Trump is ending it.
Last words to you,
Yeah, I mean, I
Rachel.
think Nancy Reagan is an interesting figure as a pop culture figure, as a first lady as well, because I think in a similar kind of way, I mean, it sounds like a weird comparison, but, the use of sort of, celebrity and style, you can see that also in Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama doing, her campaigns for kids' health and appearing on Sesame Street and, doing, rapping and going on, Jimmy Fallon and going on Ellen, somebody who has also used her considerable style and charm. She's a warmer personality, much more so than Nancy Reagan, who always had that sort of like aloof kind of brittleness. But certainly in terms of somebody who understands a fascination with a glamorous woman, and I think someone who has a particular kind of, female power as well. Nancy Reagan was an interesting character as sort of a pre-feminist, powerful woman who did a lot of behind-the-scenes string pulling. And I think you can sort of see from Jackie Kennedy to Nancy Reagan to Michelle Obama, this line of stylish, glamorous first ladies who really captivated attention for that particular role.
Only one of them was friends with Mr. T, though.
And that was Nancy Reagan. That was
I'm
Nancy
trying
Reagan.
to think of the cultural equivalent of Mr. T now.
No, there is none.
There is none. There's only one Mr.
There's only one.
There's
Mr.
only
T.
one.